think they're mostly set.
I don't
Maybe
like
all
to
but one or two.
push people, but it's
Oh,
good
no,
to
no.
know in advance.
Oh, yeah, yeah. That's fine.
about their shoes.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
We come together because we need each other. We need community. We need strength. We need reminders of the world outside of ourselves. We spent the last 2 years very much bubbled in our own little worlds. And now we have the chance to come out, to find each other, to find strength in learning, to find connection with each other. And so we join together today in Shabbat, in peace and connection. Tonight we celebrate the 100th anniversary of the very first Bat Mitzvah. And we'll have opportunities to share in that later in our service. But tonight, as we share many things in each of our lives, we share in the 0th anniversary of Jenna Katz's Bat Mitzvah. As she celebrates this Shabbat, her becoming Bat Mitzvah, and we're delighted to invite her and her parents and brother, Michael, Melissa, and Alex, to join us on the Bima, page 121 in our prayer books, using the page numbers in the brackets.
As these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we, by our lives, give light to all who behold us.
As their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light, so may we, in our own day, be among those who kindle light.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Amen. The Kiddush is on page 123. Please rise.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav, v'ratzavanu, v'shabbat kodsho, be'ahava u'ratzon, hinilanu, zikaron lema'aseh v'reishit, ki hu yom tehillah, lemikra'ei kodesh, zecher l'tziat Mitzrayim, ki banu
Please be seated. We turn to page 128. At the bottom of the page, this is a song that's often sung on Shabbat evening, but tonight, as we celebrate the soon coming of the Sabbath bride, as we celebrate the first ever bat mitzvah, let us join together in reading at the bottom of the page about the Sabbath queen. The sun on the treetops no longer is seen. Come gather to welcome the Sabbath, our queen. Behold her descending, the holy, the blessed, and with her the angels of peace and of rest. Draw near, and here abide. Draw near, O Sabbath bride. Peace also to you, you angels of peace. We welcome the Sabbath bride, Lecha Dodi, on page 138. We'll be doing verses 1, 2, and rising for verse 9. Rise.
We
join together in our call to worship, the Baruch, page 146.
Baruchu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam va'ed. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam va'ed.
Page 151. As you taught Torah to those whose names I bear, teach me Torah too. Its mystery beckons, yet I struggle with its truth. You meant Torah for me. Did you mean the struggle for me too? Don't let me struggle alone. Help me to understand, to be wise, to listen, to know. Lead me into the mystery. Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael.
And we continue with Open Up Our Eyes, which is on page 67 and is our kavanah into the Shema.
677.
677.
Open up our eyes, teach us how to live. Fill our hearts with joy and all the love you have to give. Gather us in peace as you lead us to your name, and we will know that you are one. Open up our eyes, teach us how to live. Fill our hearts with joy and all the love you have to give. Gather us in peace as you lead us to your name, and we will know that you are one. We will know that you are one. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod, Shem Kevod, Malchuto Leolam va'ed.
Please be seated. We invite back up to the bima our bat mitzvah, Jenna Katz.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך. והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברתם בם בשבתך בביתך ובלתך בדרך וכשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך. למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתיהם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
We read together on page 157. We read this reading a lot because I think it connects to so many things in our lives, but to me, I see it as a reading tonight that connects us from that very first bat mitzvah we'll talk about to this very current bat mitzvah we had now and all the way along together. We read together. Standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before ever we stood at Sinai's foot, that wherever we go it is eternally Egypt, that there is a better place, a promised land, that the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness, that there is no way to get from here to there except by joining hands, marching together.
Who is like you, Adonai? Who is like you, כיפת אדוני יעקב, וגאלו מיד חזק ממנו, ברוך אתה אדוני, גאל ישראל.
Amen. Page 160.
Shalom,
We are a people in whom the past endures, in whom the present is inconceivable without moments gone by. The Exodus lasted a moment enduring forever. What happens once upon a time happens all the time. Before we turn to our tefillah, we're going to introduce an Adonai Sifatai Tivtach, which is on page 164.
So since we know the words to that, I think we're just going to concentrate on the melody, and then I think maybe we'll be able to put it together. So let's just try the beginning of that. La la la, la la, la la. Let's try that. Ya la la, la la, ya la. Then it goes again. Ya la la, la la, la la. So I stress a little bit different. Ya la la la. Let's try that. Ya la la la. Ya la la la. La la la. Ya la la. Ya la la. Ya la la la. La la. Ya la la la. Ya la la la. Let's try that part. Ya la la la. Try it from the top. Ya la la la. Ya la la. And then it repeats. Ya la la la. Ya la la. Ya la la la. Ya la la la. Ya la la. Ya la la la. Ya la la la. Adonai, Tivtach.
Please rise.
Adonai, Sfatai, Tivtach. Ufi Yagid, Tehilatecha. Ufi Yagid, Tehilatecha. Adonai, Sfatai, Tivtach. Adonai, Sfatai, Tivtach. Ufi Yagid, Tehilatecha. Ufi Yagid, Tehilatecha. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu, Elohei Avotenu ve'Imoteinu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, ve'Elohei Leah. Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor ve'Hanora, El Elyon, Komel Chasadim Tovim, Ve'Konei Hakol, Ve'Zofer Chasdei Avot ve'Imahot, U'Mevi Geulah Libnei Bneihem, Leman Shemo Be'ahava, Malach Ozer U'Moshia U'Magin, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham, Ezrat Sarah, Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai, Mechayei Hakol, Atzara Lehoshia, Mashiv HaRuach,
ומוריד הגשם, מחכה חיים בחסד, מחיי הכל ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר, מי כמוך בעל גבורות, ומי דומה לך, מלך ממית ומחיה, ומצמיח ישוע, ונאמן אתה לחיות הכל. ברוך אתה אדוני מחיי הכל. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים כל יום יהללוך סלה. ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש.
Together, you are holy, your name is holy, and those who are holy praise you every day. Blessed are you, Adonai, the holy God. Baruch atah Adonai, ha'el hakadosh. Please be seated. As we move into yet another week of the attacks and war in Ukraine, we continue to lift our hopes and our hearts for all that might be, for all that people can do to make a difference. One thing we know we can do is pray. We don't know if prayer will make a difference in the words of God doing something magical from the sky, but it may inspire us to more action, to more influence, to do things to help those around us. We join together on page 179. Grant us peace, your most precious gift, O eternal source of peace, and give us the will to proclaim its message to all the peoples of the earth. Bless our country as a safeguard of peace, its advocate among the nations. May contentment reign within our borders, health and happiness within our homes. Strengthen the bonds of friendship and fellowship among the inhabitants of every land. Plant virtue in every soul, and may the love of your name hallow every home and every heart. Praised are you, Eternal One, who blesses our people with peace. Baruch atah Adonai, hamivarech et amo Yisrael, b'shalom.
Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Le'olam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Le'olam. Ki ata hu melech adon lechol hashalom. Ki ata hu melech adon lechol hashalom. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Le'olam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Le'olam. V'tov beinecha levarech et amcha Yisrael bechol עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Le'olam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Le'olam. Tasim Le'olam. Tasim Le'olam. Baruch atah Adonai, hamivarech et amo Yisrael, b'shalom.
We continue with our own personal prayers in silence. Who knows? Mordecai said to Esther in chapter 4 of the book of Esther. Perhaps you have obtained your position for just such a moment. We find ourselves in unexpected places in life, but with the opportunity to sometimes make unforeseen and momentous changes in the world. Rabbi Lauren Grabel Herman of SAJ, previously known as the Society for the Advancement of Judaism, pointed out that many years after that story, another young Jewish woman had an influential relative named Mordecai, who also encouraged her to lead the way and make a powerful difference in the world. That young woman was Judith Kaplan. Her father was Rabbi Mordecai Kaplan. She would become the first ever bat mitzvah and literally change the world. Tonight we celebrate her and everything and everyone who has come afterward. On Saturday morning, March 18th, 1922, 12-and-a-half-year-old Judith Kaplan attended Shabbat morning services as usual in her father's synagogue. He had founded the synagogue just months earlier, and it met in a brownstone on the Upper West Side. Theater legend George M. Cohan previously owned the building. Judy Kaplan was the oldest of 4 sisters, and her father had an idea. Only 2 years after women had achieved the right to vote in the United States, Judy would do something no other girl had seemingly ever done. She would be called to the bima for an aliyah and celebrate her bat mitzvah. Judy sat in the front row that morning in the all-men's section of the synagogue. There was a mixed seating section in the back where her sisters, Mother Lena, and dubious grandmother sat. At the conclusion of the Torah reading, the scroll was closed. Judy ascended the bima and chanted the aliyah, the Torah blessing. She read verses of Torah not from the scroll, but from her Torah book, the Chumash. She had not been practicing for weeks or months, as her father had picked the verses she read the previous night, the holiness code from Leviticus. Her Hebrew was excellent, and she read in both Hebrew and in English. Judith Kaplan later recalled, "No thunder sounded, no lightning struck. The institution of the bat mitzvah had been born without incident, and the rest of the day was all rejoicing." Following the service, they shared a kiddush with the congregation, eating kichel made by her grandmother and gefilte fish. That night at home, they celebrated over rugelach, tea, and Judy's favorite, hot dogs. For Rabbi Mordecai Kaplan, this moment was to recognize a moment. He did not expect or anticipate Judith would share from the Torah or the Torah blessings ever again. It was not a gateway for her future in Judaism. But it did catch on. All 3 of Judith's sisters celebrated a bat mitzvah, her youngest sister at the first ever double bat mitzvah. Judith continued on with her young adult life without fanfare for her bat mitzvah. She later married Rabbi Ira Eisenstein, the assistant rabbi at her father's synagogue, who became a prominent Reconstructionist rabbi. Judith Kaplan Eisenstein was an author, a theologian, a composer, and a renowned musicologist. But bat mitzvah continued, and it grew. In 1945, a group of post-Benot mitzvah at SAJ petitioned and won the right to carry the Torah on Simchat Torah. More and more synagogues began opening up the opportunity, most notably after World War II. It was usually done when a girl was 12 or 12 and a half years old, at the age of adulthood in the Talmud for girls. Girls were often sidelined at their service to just share the Haftarah. It wasn't equal, but it was a trend that wasn't stopping. Achieving rights have a funny way of spreading out in other places too. That young women could share in this ritual event led to other areas of women's rights. Dr. Carol Balin, who is writing a book on bat mitzvah, has said that bat mitzvah paved the way. Women were finding their way onto synagogue boards, becoming temple presidents, were being counted in a minyan, and by the 1970s, were becoming rabbis and cantors. Adult b'nai mitzvah were established for all the women and men who didn't have a service as a child for any number of reasons, but not being allowed because they were female was most common among them. By the 1980s, bat mitzvah was generally at full parity in Reform synagogues. Girls celebrated at 13 years old and chanted directly from the Torah scroll. Today, bat mitzvah and bar mitzvah are both equal expectations and celebrations. Women are part of every facet of Jewish life, as clergy, temple leaders, staff, and ritual leaders. Where would Judaism and where would RTFH be without a community that values everybody to be full and equal parts of our faith? Tonight, we will celebrate every woman who ever had a bat mitzvah. Not every woman's had a bat mitzvah, but tonight we'll celebrate everyone who has. Men have celebrated this ritual for 700 years, and women for precisely 100. So every woman, knowing it or not, has been a trailblazer. There are still segments of Judaism that do not allow bat mitzvah, or to do so in a marginalized capacity. Bat mitzvah is still growing and influencing our faith. When we take the Torah out tonight, we will call everyone who has become bat mitzvah to come to the bima and lead the aliyah to the Torah once again. And then Jenna Katz, the newest bat mitzvah, will share in chanting the Torah. When Judith Kaplan led the first bat mitzvah, she was going against every expectation. Women sat in the back. Women didn't speak during services. Not one of her friends had ever done such a thing or imagined doing such a thing. She had to be the first and unique at an age when fitting in is more common. She had to stand out as a young woman, a new teenager, a bat mitzvah girl, when no one ever had before. 100 years later, we need to continue to support our teens who stand up for their own identity. Our gender-expansive young adults are paving the way. Without the first bat mitzvah, we never would have had the framework to have the services we have now. In our synagogue, we've celebrated b'nai mitzvah, who are transgender and non-binary. Judith Kaplan's courage and Rabbi Kaplan's wisdom opened the door for that one girl. Through that crack in the door, we've been able to push it wide open to welcome in a diverse, loving community of people to each celebrate who they are. Professor Sharon Ann Musher reflects, even as the organized Jewish world has become more equitable, it still has a long way to go to be inclusive along race, gender, class, and ability. Sexual harassment, gendered assumptions by hiring committees, and the genuine difficulties of balancing work with family obligations, particularly given the responsibilities of maintaining a Jewish home, continue to work against women assuming leadership roles in Jewish organizations. Moreover, many Jewish institutions have only recently begun to work to incorporate the range of Jewish diversity among their leadership. Tonight we celebrate that beginning to lead to the equity we face and strive for now. Judith Kaplan is a modern Jewish hero. Today we celebrate her courage. Today we recognize how far we've come in 100 years. Today we commit to the journey ahead. In 1992, at the age of 82, Judith Kaplan Einstein celebrated a second bat mitzvah, surrounded by leaders of the modern Jewish feminist movement. This time she read from a Torah scroll. Perhaps you have obtained your position for just such a moment, Mordecai told Esther. A 12-year-old girl made a huge difference for equality and inclusion that is still reverberating today. May each of you and may each of us be who we are and where we are for just such a moment. May we each seize every moment for the blessing that comes our way. We turn to our Torah service on page 364. I invite the newest bat mitzvah, Jenna Katz, to join me on the bima as we take the Torah from the Ark and participate in the Hakafah around the synagogue. We ask anyone who has ever become a bat mitzvah at any time and anywhere to follow after Jenna as we walk through the congregation carrying our Torah. Then we invite all our post-benot mitzvah to join us on and around the bima as we join together for the Aliyah blessings. Page 364, please rise. Please be seated. Stand here. Cantor coming over here. I'm going to step out of the rain. Everybody look at me.
With the mask on. Oh, wait, where's our, Oh, sorry. All right. All right.
So Jenna will be chanting from the book of Leviticus, chapter 6, verse 1, beginning in verse 1. If you want to follow along from the Chumash, the same kind of book Judith Kaplan used when she read Torah, it's on page 688. I only have this one copy, so let's see how we all do. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Baruch Adonai Hamborach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim, v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch Atah Adonai noten ha'Torah.
Amen. Vaydaber Adonai el Moshe lemor. Tzav et Aharon ve'et banav lemor. Zot Torat ha'olah hi ha'olah al mokedah al hamizbeach kol halayla ad haboker ve'esh hamizbeach tukad bo ve'lavash hakohen mido vad umechnese vad yilvash al vesaro veherim et hadeshen asher tochal ha'esh et ha'olah al hamizbeach vesamo eitzel hamizbeach.
Yesher Koach. Don't leave after the blessing. We go. 1, 2, 3.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torat emet, v'chayei olam nata b'tocheinu. Baruch atah Adonai noten ha'Torah.
Amen. Where's my microphone? May the one who blessed our ancestors, Sarah, Rebecca, Leah, and Rachel, Miriam, Abigail, Deborah, Ruth, and Esther, bless all who have risen today in honor of Torah, in honor of the Holy One, in honor of community, in honor of your Benot Mitzvah. On this 100th anniversary of Bat Mitzvah, we remember that in the course of Jewish history, Bat Mitzvah is only a recent phenomenon. We give thanks for Judith Kaplan and all those pioneers who established Bat Mitzvah for generations to come. We honor those who came before us, who paved a way for us to follow in their footsteps and claim our rightful place in Jewish tradition and community. By the merit of coming to the Torah, may you draw closer to the Holy One. May your lives be enriched by the bonds of tradition and community. May you know blessings of success and health along with your siblings and the people of Israel. And let us say, Amen. To celebrate this moment, we join in our blessing of celebrations, the Shehechianu.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, shehechianu v'kimanu v'higianu lazman hazeh. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, shehechianu v'kimanu
Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, who leads us on a journey that sometimes requires us to push indoors and make our way, to give us the blessings and wonder that we need in our lives. Help us to recognize special moments in time in each other and lead others to greater blessings. May we each use the power that we have in our lives to give that power to other people to bring strength into their lives. And may we celebrate this moment in time, one of blessing, of memory, and love. And let us say, Amen. Amen. Mazel tov.
Can I go back too?
You go back to your seat.
On the first woman adult with disability to have part and the sample.
By the way, head back to your seat, okay? With the Torah out in front of us, we think of those who need our strength, our healing, and our hope. We think of all those who are battling COVID still actively in this world. We think of all of those in pain and suffering in Ukraine. We think of all of those in our hearts everywhere. We're especially thinking of in our congregation of Elaine Wall, Jamie Stern, Leah Stern, Joan Lipton, Arlene Green, Sadie Rosenkrantz, Roberta Traeger, Jody Ann Herman, Judith Lacasio, Rochelle Weinberg, Don Levy, Larry Bloom, Arnold Gilbert, Barbara Gilbert, Jane Levy, Brenda Levinson, Jenny Davidowitz. If there's someone you're particularly thinking of, I ask you to share their name out loud with us here in the sanctuary or to put it into the chat.
Saya Madvelvo Vahindi.
With all those names in our hearts, we join together in a prayer for healing, the Mishaberach for healing in the middle of page 371.
May the source of strength
As we lift and dress the Torah, we're going to rise, and joining us on the bima as we return the Torah to the Ark are Arlene Green and Ronnie Rabin. Please rise.
Israel,
page 374. Please be seated. It's going to take me a minute to set up our electronics, so talk to each other about the best bat mitzvah you ever went to. Okay, that's enough. We asked members of our community to send in pictures of their bat mitzvah, and not everybody had access to a photo from back then, but we got a number of them. So these are the photos that we received, and a few bonus ones we added in. So we're going to share an opportunity to think back of some people we know and their bat mitzvah.
May your eyes shine with the light of Torah. May your face be radiant as the brightness of the sky. May your lips speak words of wisdom, and may the world you live in be the world of your dreams. May you see your world created in your lifetime. May you see your visions come to be. May your hope touch every generation to come. These are the prayers we have for you. May your eyes shine with the light of Torah, and your face be radiant as the brightness of the sky. May your lips speak words of wisdom, and may the world you live in be the world of your dreams. May you be blessed with understanding, with wisdom and compassion in your heart. May your tongue be filled with song, and your lips sing out for justice. These are the prayers we have for you. May your eyes shine with the light of Torah, and your face be radiant as
Special thanks to Faye Gilman, who put that slideshow together for us. Mostly it's just me watching get older, and then COVID, and then not COVID. It's really, that's really what it is. But we thank everybody who sent in their photo, and we know there are many, many more Benot Mitzvah to celebrate and remember always in our hearts. We want to share some good things in our lives. If you have a simcha, something good happening to you or your family in recent days or up ahead, just raise your hand. I'll come over to you. Tell us your name and then what good thing is happening in your life. I'm going to start over here, so I'll get to all of you all in a minute. Anyone in this section? Anyone? This section needs to work on good things. Good things section, people. Okay, now over here. I'm going to start somebody here.
Hi, Philip Katz. Here, get to see my family for the first time in 5 years, so it's very nice. Very happy. I get to see a beautiful bat mitzvah tomorrow. I'm very excited. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Jenna, and my bat mitzvah's tomorrow, so I'm very excited.
My name's Alan Gordon. I finished a book I was writing for the past 11 months this week.
My name's Scott, and Sunday's the first day of spring. Finally, end of winter.
Okay, anyone over here have anything? Karen, do you have something?
Hi. Actually, this is Julep's thing, but I enjoyed it as well. I got on Accessoride the other day, and there was a dog in a carrier, and Julep and the dog had a good time together.
Glad she made a friend.
I can't wait for my summer break.
Say your name too.
My name is Leah, and I can't wait for my summer break.
Great, Leah. Anyone else? We look forward to many more simchas to share with each other. We move to the concluding blessings of our service now, beginning with the Aleinu in the middle of page 586. Please rise.
Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא, ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו
Please be seated. We think now of people we miss so very much, people who inspired our world, who were change bringers, who were trailblazers, because they helped us find life and love and blessing in our lives. We remember some people in particular tonight because of the time of year. We remember all of them in our hearts all year long because they're a part of who we are. This week marks the yahrzeit, the anniversary of the passing of Walter Bauer, Jacob Brownstein, Alvin Callow Sr., Barnett Cohen, Gertrude Deichmann, Rhoda Eisenberg, Louis M. Elkind, Leonie Fagel, Nathan Feldman, Arlene J. Garrick, Judith Gilbard, Mikhail Giller, Muriel Glazer, Gertrude Goldstrom, Fanny Guggenheim, Solomon Halfin, Lance Jonathan Kamen, Irene Klein, Joseph Corson, Eleanor Levinson, Jeanette Levy, Mandy Muscovici, Philip Needleman, Samuel W. Olin, Jenny Orgler, Corporal Philip H. Osterlang, Regina Polakar, Pauline Rabin, Alvin Rosas, Dora Rosen, Helen Rosenblatt, Isidore Rosofsky, Erna Scheibler, Pauline Schwartz, Manny Schwartz, David Schrage, David Siegel, Philip Skloot, Charles Warman, Ida White. We note in sadness the passing of our member Rose Wiener, wife of Arthur Wiener. She will be laid to rest on Tuesday. And the recent passings of our member Gerard Cohen, husband of Mura Cohen, father of Abigail, father-in-law of David, and grandfather of Elliot. Our member Jerry Cash, father of Shari and Lynn. Harris Schoenberg, husband of Irene, father of our member Dahlia Schoenberg, father-in-law of Jonathan Lamb, father of Daniel and Laura Schoenberg, grandfather of Olivia, Ella, Drew, and Kea. Ruth Goodman, aunt of Rabbi Meir Perlmutter. Rabbi Sanford Marcus, father of Julie Gomez, grandfather of Emma, Leah, Owen, and Ella. If you are remembering someone in particular tonight, we invite you to add the name to our chat for everyone online to see, or to call it out loud here in our congregation.
Everyone who's died of COVID and everyone in Ukraine has been killed by the Russians.
In loving memory, holding on to their blessings, we join in our Mourner's Kaddish, page 598. Please rise. Yitgadal v'yitgadash shemei rabbah ve'alma divrah churuteh v'yamlik malchuteh v'chayakon v'yomechon v'chayeh d'chol beit Yisrael v'agalav izman kariv v'yamru amen. Yehei shmei rabbah mevarach le'olam omei almaya. Yitbarak v'yishtabak v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitalev v'yitalal shmei d'kudusha b'rechu le'ela minko birkata v'shirata tushbekata v'nechamata damiran be'alma v'yamru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'yamru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav hu yaseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'yamru amen. May the source of peace send peace to all who mourn and comfort to every broken heart. And let us say, amen. Please be seated. Invite up the president of our congregation, Neil Rosenblatt, with a few words.
I know my sister and Mike are a little nervous with me up here tonight, so we're going to have a fun one tonight. Good evening, everyone. Shabbat Shalom. Thanks, as always, to Rabbi and Cantor, to Faye, Alan, Cheryl, Andy, Juan, Bonnie, Joe, Edward, Keith, our greeters, and Tony Mack for all their work behind the scenes that allow us to enjoy our time together. There's lots going on in the coming weeks here at Synagogue. We had a terrific Megillah reading this week, for those of you that attended. We cap off Purim festivities Sunday morning with the return of our Purim Carnival. There's going to be, with our Purim Carnival, thank you. Yeah. There'll be games, fun, and the world champion Hamantashen for all. And for all the kids out there, don't forget, it's a pajama Purim celebration. Next Friday, we have our social action Shabbat with the onset of spring. Don't forget that Passover is right around the corner. Make sure you're watching the weekly e-blast for everything that's happening. So I want to wish Mazel Tov to my niece, Jenna, on becoming a bat mitzvah tomorrow. Stacy, Ella, and I are all looking very forward to watching you on the Bima. And if today was any indication of what to expect, it's going to be pretty amazing. Services begin tomorrow at 10:30 here and online. Congrats as well to my sister, my brother-in-law, Mike and Melissa, my nephew, Alex. And a big thank you to my dad, Bob, and Jenna's grandmother, Marcia, for sponsoring the Oneg this evening. So it's really appropriate that Jenna's bat mitzvah falls on the 100th anniversary of the first female bat mitzvah. I've been fortunate in my life to be surrounded by women who represent the incredible power and accomplishments of women, and that includes my wife, my mom, my sister, Ella, and Jenna. Without getting too much into this, I recalled one story this week that speaks to my mom's dedication towards things like this. It goes back to my bar mitzvah, when she took on our rabbi at the Regal Park Jewish Center because he would not allow women to come to the Bima. The rabbi lost the fight, ate a lot of crow. Wasn't nearly as good as our guy over here. So I'm going to close tonight with some lyrics, as I usually do, that celebrate both how far women have come in the past 100 years, as well as providing some sound advice for my niece. While I normally turn to some obscure rock songs, I'm going to turn to the more recent world of pop, and the song Who Says from Selena Gomez that serves as a reminder about the strength of women. Who says you're not star potential? Who says you're not presidential? Who says you can't be in movies? Who says you don't pass the test? Who says you can't be the best? Who says that you're not perfect? On behalf of my family and the greatest Double Dare team to never win the trip to space camp, I wish you all a great night and Shabbat Shalom.
To say I had a privilege there because you all were watching Neil, but I was watching Melissa, who was just waiting on every word for what was next. But he wrote it all out in advance, so that says something to you and your family. And now we continue with the family announcements. We invite Jenna back up, along with her cousin, who is Ella, who is also the programming vice president of our youth group, Taffy.
So, Jenna, Mazel Tov. I'm so excited for your bat mitzvah tomorrow. You're gonna do so good, as you could see tonight. So, on behalf of Toffee, we want to present you with a bag of toffee.
Thank you.
Because we love a good pun. I'm so proud of you, and I love you so much.
Thank you. Aww. I can take this.
Yeah, I need it. As we get ready for our oneg in the ballroom tonight, we invite you at the conclusion of services to bring your prayer books back to the table that you got them from, and then head on into the oneg together. As we do that, we want to offer up our motzi to get us ready for the food ahead. And I'd like to invite to help us with motzi tonight all the people who definitely weren't coming up tonight because you're not old enough to have a bar or a bat mitzvah yet. So all of our future b'nai mitzvah in the room, please join me over for the motzi.
Bon appetit. We conclude with Adon Olam, which is on page 625, and this is sort of in keeping with how we celebrate certain holidays here. Adon Olam asher malach b'terem kol yitzir nivra le'et nasa v'chefzo kol azay melech shemo nikra ve'achari kichlot hakol levado yimloch nora ve'hu haya ve'hu hove ve'hu yiyeh b'tifara ve'hu echad ve'ein sheni lehamshilo le'achbira ve'li reshit ve'li tachlit ve'lo ha'oz ve'hamid
Shabbat Shalom.